Emma Harper had convinced herself that tonight would mark a turning point in her life. After years of harboring an unspoken crush on Ryan Cooper, she was determined to move on. The solution? A double date with her best friend Chloe, Chloe's boyfriend Nate, and a guy Emma barely knew named James. It was foolproof, or so she thought. Emma arrived at the restaurant early, clutching her purse like it was a lifeline. Chloe and Nate were already seated, looking cozy as ever. Emma plopped down and immediately adjusted her dress for the 50th time. "You're going to be fine," Chloe reassured her, giving her a knowing smile. "James is nice. A little intellectual, but nice." Emma nodded, her nerves still on edge. She didn't even have time to respond before James arrived, a tall, slightly awkward guy with glasses and a blazer that screamed debate team captain. "Emma, right?" James asked, taking a seat. "So glad you're here. I was just reading the most fascinating essay on postmodernism." "Oh, great," Emma said, forcing a smile. She glanced at Chloe, who raised her eyebrows as if to say, "You're welcome." Just as Emma started trying to follow James' monologue about literary criticism, her heart sank. Across the room, she spotted none other than Ryan Cooper walking into the restaurant with a date. Of course, he was here. Because the universe had a cruel sense of humor. Emma tried her best to focus on James, who was now passionately discussing his love for obscure poetry. But her attention kept drifting to Ryan, who was seated 2 tables away with a bubbly girl wearing a gamer t-shirt and a contagious laugh. They seemed to be hitting it off. Emma excused herself to use the bathroom and made her way across the restaurant. Instead of heading to the restroom, she ducked behind a large potted plant near Ryan's table. Leaning closer, she tried to catch snippets of their conversation. "So, I love your TikToks," Ryan's date was saying. "That one where you tried to solve calculus. Hilarious." Ryan laughed. "Yeah, my friend Emma helped me with that one. She's kind of a genius." Emma's heart did a strange little flip at his words, but her moment of eavesdropping was cut short when she lost her balance. The plant wobbled dangerously, and Emma scrambled to steady it. Ryan looked up, his brow furrowed. "Did that plant just move?" Emma froze, then quickly ducked and crawled back toward her table. Her heart was pounding, and not just because she'd nearly toppled over a potted fern. Back at her table, Chloe gave her a knowing look. "You were spying on Ryan, weren't you?" "I was not." Emma lied, though the flush on her cheeks gave her away. She grabbed a menu and buried her face in it. James returned from the bathroom and, oblivious to Emma's internal turmoil, excitedly ordered fancy wood-fired pizza for the table. Unfortunately, Emma's nerves got the better of her. She reached for a glass of water, her hand slipped, and her elbow knocked the pizza plate clean off the table. The pizza landed face down on James' shoes. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," Emma exclaimed, her face turning scarlet. James stared at the ruined pizza on his loafers like it was a personal betrayal. "This was handcrafted mozzarella," he muttered, his voice heavy with disappointment. Chloe covered her mouth to stifle a laugh, while Nate gave Emma an awkward thumbs up as if to say, "You're doing great, kid." Across the room, Ryan noticed the commotion. His eyes met Emma's, and for a split second, she saw amusement flicker across his face. He raised an eyebrow, as if to ask, "What are you doing?" Emma panicked and waved. Not a casual wave, a frantic, arm-flailing gesture that only made things worse. Ryan chuckled and went back to his conversation, leaving Emma to stew in her embarrassment. James, meanwhile, decided he'd had enough. "This has been interesting," he said, standing up and brushing imaginary pizza crumbs from his shoes. "Good luck with everything." Emma watched him leave, feeling simultaneously relieved and mortified. Chloe, however, was having the time of her life. "That," Chloe said, patting Emma on the back, "was the most entertaining dinner I've ever had." Later that night, Emma flopped onto her bed, exhausted and thoroughly humiliated. Her phone buzzed with a text from Chloe. "Chloe, so you're never getting over Ryan, are you?" Winky face. "Emma, I don't even like him." Chloe, "Sure, robot queen." "Sure." Emma groaned and tossed her phone aside. But her thoughts kept drifting back to Ryan, specifically the way he'd smiled at her when their eyes met. She shook her head, determined to push the memory away. "It's not a crush," she muttered to herself. It's definitely not a crush. Meanwhile, Ryan was scrolling through his phone, absent-mindedly liking memes. He paused when he saw a picture his date had posted of the two of them at dinner. His expression softened as he remembered Emma's frantic wave and the chaotic pizza incident. With a small smile, he opened his camera roll, where he'd secretly snapped a picture of Emma hiding behind the plant earlier. He didn't know why, but he found himself chuckling as he captioned it, "When you spy on your math coach instead of doing equations." Ryan hit save, shaking his head. He wasn't sure what to make of the whole night, but one thing was certain: Emma Harper was endlessly entertaining. And maybe, just maybe, he was looking forward to their next encounter as much as she was dreading it.